Hello everyone, no respawn. So, we're on the castle. This is my farm thing. I don't really know what it is. Is it a farm? Or is it more allotments? It's not really a farm, is it? Because it's only like 2 planters. But it's whatever. It's where we grow more of our crops. So, running out of space on the castle walls. I actually have quite a few videos planned for the castle now. A bit more than I had initially. The reason being is I've looked out and we do need to add something to the front of it and the back. Like where we've got the harbour area, it might not be a couple of videos, but the stuff needs to be added. But in this area here, I needed one area that was dedicated to growing food. Right, just one area and we're all good to go. And it was the last area that I touched on the castle walls. So I was like, okay, it's going to be this one. All right. So basically, the whole theme I'm going around with this is I wanted to try a different way of attacking the planters and kind of making them look a bit unique, a little bit weird, and just kind of interesting. And I opted for, because this was a military area, they'd probably have quite a backlog of just loads of sandbags that they're not using, basically. So I thought, all right, or repurpose perhaps, because it's an ex-military area and they've got these repurposed fat sandbags, whether you want to RP it. But this ends up looking quite cool. It is a bit tedious. But to give you an idea, I only show you me doing the first one, and then I just skip ahead because it's just the same show over and again. But it only took me about 12 minutes to do both of these, how I'm going to do them now. And there are 8 sandbags for each one. So it's not... It's one of those things, it's kind of like, well, this is a bit boring, but it's over quite quickly. Like, this is a bit dull, but it'll be over before you know it. It just looks really, really cool. And kind of just adds to the whole thing. I'm really loving the castle. I've mentioned this about a bajillion times, but it's looking fucking cool. Look out there as well with that harbour. I've seen a couple of other castle videos. Some people have been kind of developing on what I've already done. A lot of you have actually been sent me your castle builds and kind of using a lot of the stuff I've been doing and then just adding your own twist. And a lot of you have been putting stuff on the outside, and it made me realise that I need to do that. So I think I'm definitely doing a video on maybe some more defences, a couple of towers, just I think because that's the idea, you know. I don't want to go too over the top, because then we could pretty much just go on forever just spreading outside the castle. But similar to an actual castle, I want a little bit of life outside of it. You know, kind of a medieval castle would have loads of houses and shit, but mine's mainly just like defensive stuff and maybe a few kind of shacks and stuff outside both entrances. And I think I'll kind of give it a bit more of a kind of leading up vibe. That's even a word, I don't know. So as you can see, this is quite dull to do, but it is quite straightforward. It looks really cool. I deliberately used it, positioned them in, so you can actually see the foundations. I want you to be able to see them, but I like the idea that maybe these are just like, it's just giving it that extra bit of support. I mean, for example, what I was initially thinking of doing was just using a pillar and like raising up one of those boards and just putting these underneath, but I felt with the foundation it kind of made a bit more sense, like, because that way you don't have to worry too much about getting the sandbags perfectly close and tight. So as you can see, looks pretty cool. You'll see it in a sec, and now we've done the other one. You'll see it a bit clearer in the tour. So this is the point where I was like, right, I need to kind of like make this area look unique, and I didn't know how to do it, so I opted just to kind of board the whole thing up and kind of just make it look like it's a bit more of a lived-in area. I actually do change my mind quite a bit on how things look. And also, thankfully, these shack stairs might be potentially a good idea to put those on first, because I completely forgot. I was like, oh yeah, there's no way for people to get on. I can jump up there, but you know how stupid the AI is. So this right here is just me sinking these waffle bits in, really, and I changed my mind and scrap half of them, but it's cool. So on the subject of, well, I'm doing this part because it's just quite boring, but anyway. So on the subject of a couple of things, I get questions I've been asked recently, is what the next settlement is going to be. I don't know. That's the long and short of it. Everyone keeps asking me as well, are you going to do X and Y settlement? As I mentioned this before, I am going to do every single settlement. Like, that's the whole point. So I will be doing Taffington Boathouse. I will be doing the Mechanist Lair. I will be doing Somerset House. Is it Somerset House? Yeah, that one. That place. And on all the others as well. So I will be done. For example, this build, if I remember correctly, this save doesn't have a Merkwater. Merkwater that you've seen, the one I did quite a few months ago with, you know, the Church of Atom one, is Children of Atom, is on my other save file. So I want this save file to have every settlement built up, which means I haven't done a green top, I haven't done a I said Merkwater. I'm trying to think what other ones I haven't done. So I haven't done Hangman's Alley. So there's loads we're going to be doing, so that's cool. Also, because people get asking as well, because sometimes we take for granted the fact that we know all of the controls. So if you watching and wondering how I'm, for example, like raising... You see, I often do it where my character doesn't move and I'm raising the items up and down. If you look in my playlists, there is actually a glitches video where I go through kind of all the various bits and pieces we use for building. But in terms of raising the items up and down without moving, what I do is you basically... This is on PS4 controls, so I don't know what the Xbox and PC one's equivalent will be. But I hold down... If I hold down X, well, I've got the item just like selected like this, as it is now, and then move the left bumper, it will move it left or right. So kind of on the horizontal plane. And if I hold down the L1 button and hold down X, it will then move it vertically. So that's how I, if you see me moving around and stuff. Loads of you know that, but, it's one of those things, it's kind of good form for me to just kind of poke you and go, remember this? Remember this? This is how we do this. Yeah, and plus I've obviously got loads of new people since the last time I probably mentioned that. I was a bit worried this build wouldn't be as interesting, because the set piece of this build, every one of my builds has a set piece, and the set piece of this build is obviously the sandbags, and that's kind of mostly it. It looks really, really cool though when it's finished, so it's kind of quite a nice layout build, I guess. This is me I changed my entire mind about this part I've just done. Don't worry, I don't like redo the whole thing. I just kind of go, well, this is a shit. Don't like that. Don't like that. It looks a little bit too, it just doesn't match, I guess. But it's also getting really dark as well. It's getting really dark in it. You can see it, look at it, it's looking at all that kind of evening light, which is great for screenshots, but not so good for the building, is it? So yeah, then I've got a video on defences planned. I also want to do some mod reviews as well, because I checked the other day, and there are... Since I haven't done one since the CVA and the Junk Walls mod, and there's so many new mods that have been added, and I want to kind of... It gives me an excuse to have a bit more of an in-depth look and find something that's cool. So I will have a gander and have a mod review. Maybe up tomorrow, or maybe I'll do a build video, not too sure. So it's got nearly done. That's an actual complete lie. We've got like 10 more minutes, 5 more minutes. I don't know how long it is. I don't pay attention, it's fine. This is my little fence thing. This looks so cool though. I'm so pleased. I forgot I remembered it after I did the tour, and I'm just gonna have to do it another time. That green little crow's nest, I guess, is actually, I think, gonna be either the bedroom or just maybe somewhere for the gardener to live or hang out or something, because I quite like the idea of that. However, I forgot to decorate it. So you can see right now it's really starting to come together. And then the other side is pretty straightforward as well. So I'm going to do some more of these. I love these barrels. I can't believe... There's so much stuff. I know I don't want to kind of get on a kind of angry at Bethesda train because I love them to bits. But, like, there is so much stuff that you just wonder, why would you do that, son? Why would you miss out? Barrels. Why aren't there barrels? Why aren't there those boxes? And I'm talking about, like, in the vanilla building without mods. There's, like, so much shit in here, which I'm legit confused as to why I've never been able to place it before. Like, why? Shit, you could have just done, like, hundreds of Wasteland Workshop DLCs. If from a money-making perspective as well, because let's be honest, I would have paid for it. And most of you would have as well. As long as you've got a job, and it's only about £3. I was like, cheaper than a pint. And, just so much stuff, like the sandbags, like those crates. And I just think, yeah, but why, though? Oh, I was going to cut all this bollocks out. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to plug off this hole, basically. So this part I was going to cut out and I completely forgot. So there we go. So it's like, I'm trying to get this, because I can't be asked to move everything to the side. I get it in, don't worry. But I end up having to use the pillar instead. Oh, it took a little bit longer when I was doing it in real time. Look at the pier. Look at the pier from here, though. Doesn't it look fucking cool? Doesn't it look cool? Oh, I'm really pleased with it. Just the whole little area is just so unplanned, but it worked. Well, it was vaguely planned. It was planned on the fly, put it that way. When I decided to do the crane, I was like, well, I'm also going to do that, aren't I? So this is just me, because I wanted to do more for this, right? Like it wasn't feeling like there was much going on in here, so I decided to just add loads of shack bridges, and it looks really cool because it gives walkways through the area as well, which is quite cool. By the way, when I was doing this, so in where I've got that in the crane section, where I've got that little container capsule thing, right? So one of the modular pieces, so for those of you who don't remember, the capsule, the one behind us, the little walls, you have to actually, remember me pillar glitching them on, right? And when I went to decorate it last time, I realised one of them was actually not placed properly. It was the one with the bit with the fan. You'll see me look at it in a sec. And so I ended up having to, like that fan, you see that fan there? It wasn't placed in properly. So I, rather than redo the whole thing when I was doing the decoration, when I did that video, because you can pillar glitch, you can rug glitch it. And because it's on the edge, I couldn't pillar glitch it. So I had to make this, there's this giant basic chain of invisible rugs that you can't see going underneath that and allowing me to position that in place. The problem is when I had to record all this again when I first started this build, because I accidentally grabbed it without realising it, got really confused, fell down that loads of times. And I wasn't until I was nearly to the end of this that I'd realised I'd taken that part out, and it was going to take me ages to get it back in, so I ended up reloading. So yeah, I had to be really careful pillar glitching. I can't even remember where the chain of rugs, I think they're next to that concrete thing, but I'm not too sure. So on here as well, I've got my little wall down here. I wanted to use these fences. It looks cool. Ah, this just looks so nice. Oh, I love the castle. I am going to miss it though. I don't know what to do afterwards. We've mentioned that, but seriously, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know. It'll be fine though. So we're getting close. We're just kind of adding a few more details now. This is there more of a? I was worried this wasn't going to be turn out very interesting. It's not as set piecey maybe as the others. I mean, it is, but normally the others have something bigger. I don't know. It's just like, you know, with the survival shack, it's just kind of unique. This is unique, but maybe it's a bit more organic feeling than the others. I don't know. I don't know. Davey obsesses, as I've mentioned this quite a lot, over making sure that everything I make for you guys is new and interesting, which is very, very hard for a game that's been out for a year and a half. I'm doing reasonably well, I like to think. But yeah, for a game that's been out for like 18 months or so, it's sometimes difficult for me to do something new. But for some weird and unholy reason, I've somehow managed to keep it going. So we're doing good. As I said, views are up. People like the castle vids, which is grand. Got my wire fences. They're all wiry and exciting like that. And now I've just got a few more of the floor pieces to do. I do a little bit of decoration as well, but I didn't show that because it's just, you know, me just placing loads of fertilizer and coolant everywhere because I like placing bottles of coolant. So this one right here. I love these shack floors because you can rug glitch them. That changes everything. It's so useful for just, and the way they sit into the ground as well, they just seem to be, that was me panicking that I accidentally, because you notice I haven't saved for a while. Normally I save quite often. But it looks, these are so useful. The fact you can rug glitch them as well, and they just make such a attractive looking floor. That's my life. I love, actually, you know what, I love it. I love my life. It's great. Getting really obsessed over like really tiny details. Like, so what kind of plywood are we going to use? And I actually think about that. That's what I do. The uneven ground on the castle walls does piss me off a little bit though. Like you can with the scrap everything mod, you can scrap the entire castle walls. It would be nice if, I don't think you could do it on PS4, but if you had a castle build where you could like have the castle walls were just, it was still grass, but it was flatter, because it's really lumpy as you can see. When I did my last castle build, you remember, we ended up having like loads of walkways and shit going over the top. It was quite the nightmare to kind of get it working. I did remember to save then. I was like, oh yeah, it's been a while, I nearly fucked up. But yeah, the uneven ground. That's why I'm kind of like separating the builds out and I'm not having the kind of big walkway that I once tried to have, because I figured that would look a little bit weird. So there we go. We're nearly done now. Just popping this in there. And it's all grand and as you like. So here's the tour. It looks cool. It's unique. It's quite set piecey. It fits. But because I was limited with space especially, and there's not really anything big we can put down, I had to kind of keep it quite small. But I'm quite pleased. And again, I forgot to decorate on the inside of there. So that will be just someone's hanging out. I'll maybe turn it into a bog, because I don't know. And I've got my little fog thing because it just looks grand. Anyway, hope you guys liked that and it gave you a few ideas. I especially like these planter sandbag hybrid things. They look fucking cool. Anyway, as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. Next video will be a Fallout one. I just don't know if it'll be a mod review or not, or another build, but it will be soon. Anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.